G-Show Land, and welcome to another episode of the G-Show Podcast. I am G1, and this is the Godzilla Block Party. First episode in a long time, first episode of 2022. And why are we coming to you now after so long? And there's been Godzilla shit happening, but why are we coming to you now? January 20th, 2022. Why? Because major Godzilla news just dropped. Major Monsterverse news just dropped. It's crazy. We gotta go. Who's going with me? Of course, it's my right-hand man when it comes to Godzilla on the G-Show. My brother G73, a.k.a. Chase. Good God, I miss you. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to everyone and all of you listening. It's been a while, but man, it hasn't been too long, and what's cool is I just had a premonition about all of this too, so I'm excited to get into the news.
A premonition! Who else is joining me today? Of course, it's none other than my brother from another mother, again, JR. Bro, it's been a long time. Thank you for joining us again.
Hello there.
Oh, okay, Mr. Obi-Wan. I see what your Book of Boba Fett shit going on. I got you.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. I'm kind of jealous. I didn't know if that was Alec Guinness or Ewan McGregor, but that was really good.
No, that's called whiskey.
Obi Whiskey Kenobi, huh? Okay. Look, all joking aside, we're here because news dropped today. Big, major, gigantic, unbelievable news dropped today in regards to Legendary's Monsterverse and where it's going. And to tell us about that news, of course, is G73, because he's the one that broke it to us. He shared it with us. So please, Brother Chase, what the hell's going on?
Oh, wow. So, earlier this morning when I woke up, which fairly wasn't that late in the day, which is kind of nice, just scrolling on Twitter, and then right when I instantly got on Twitter, actually what's funny is Alan Maxim, I think, is that his name? Alan Maxim? The guy that played one of the heads for King Ghidorah.
Oh, yeah. That we got the interview with on... Yeah,
Alan Maxim. He actually... I saw what was funny is he posted on his Twitter, "Hey, Legendary, we're wanting to get back into the universe. Your call." And I'm like, well, that's interesting. He said, your call now. And I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting, you know. And so I checked it out, and then under the link it said that Apple TV has scored a Godzilla TV show with Legendary. And it says Apple TV lands Godzilla and the Titans based on Legendary's Monsterverse. And it just talks about how with the success of Godzilla vs. Kong and all the Monsterverse movies together combined making almost $2 billion at the box office, Legendary is developing the next untitled Monsterverse film, but also saw potential in developing a series and began talking to buyers that were interested. And Apple showed the most interest in wanting to purchase an IP from Legendary, and a deal was struck, and development has begun on the series. Beginning in 2014 with Godzilla, Godzilla, and continuing with 2017's Kong Skull Island, and 2019's Godzilla King of the Monsters, and 2021's Monsterverse. Then it goes into how they've made almost $2 billion and expanding with the new anime series. But what's interesting is what this series is about. And, I mean, obviously, a little self-explanatory. It's really just about it says it's about a family that are trying to uncover the mysteries of Monarch, and that's pretty much it for now. It's just a small little glimpse, and it's just talking about how it's going to explore the universe of Godzilla and the Titans. And I'm really excited for this because I remember you and I, Ray, have been talking about this for a long time, a Monsterverse TV show.
Yeah,
and like it's almost like Legendary's watching us.
we definitely we definitely have talked about a MonsterVerse TV show before Godzilla vs. Kong. I believe we've been throwing ideas around, and then when Godzilla vs. Kong came out, we were throwing more ideas around. I mean, this is huge news on several fronts, right? One, I think to me one of the biggest pieces of this is it's Apple TV. Like, what does that mean when you have HBO Max, right? Who's owned by Warner Brothers? How come that didn't get the nod? I have a theory. And my theory is this. They did not want to shell the money out. But Apple TV, they see a good commodity, right? And they say, you know what? We own iPhone. We're freaking Apple, for crying out loud. We have a serious corner on a certain market. We got money. We'll shell it out. We'll shell it out. And now we'll get those people who, like myself, have an Android, not an Apple. Even though we're recording this on an iMac, I'm just going to give you a heads up. This is I do give it props.
I'm Android too.
Yep. But my phone's an Android. What we're recording this on is an iMac. But we'll get these people to subscribe to Apple TV because there are fans. And the reason why there are fans goes to 2021. The first major hit during the pandemic was Godzilla vs. Kong. Hands down. Hands down. It made a good amount of money.
Saved the box office.
In the middle of a pandemic. Did it make Spider-Man fall from No Way Home numbers? No. But at that point in time, the majority of people are vaccinated. We can go to the theaters, right? This is gigantic news. This is like my number one thing for me personally. The fact that Apple said, we'll take it. We'll take it. I mean, JR, let me ask you, like, just this week, Microsoft bought Activision, which is nuts in its own right. This feels like the same kind of thing. I mean, of course, it's not as grand. For us fans, it is. But it's not as grand as a $70 billion, acquisition of one of the biggest gaming companies for the past, 15 years? 20 years? I mean, Activision's been around for a very long time. So, here in Apple, which is not Netflix, it's not Amazon Prime, it's not HBO Max, it's not Disney Plus, right? Coming in and scooping up the Monsterverse, that's huge news. JR, what do you think?
I think it's fucking smart. I think it's really smart, especially after seeing how Microsoft bought Activision for that obscene amount of money, because this is the ripple effect of what happens after we have a pandemic and everyone's at home. All these different companies are snatching up as much as they can. Apple don't have shit. They just don't. What's a big thing? Well, the Monsterverse made money. I was talking to Chase about it, about my personal opinions on it, but let's just state the facts. It made money. It did. Godzilla vs. Kong, it made money, you know what I mean? Like,
it did.
It's smart. When I think of streaming services, I literally never think of Apple. I don't, who gives a shit, now I give a shit.
I don't think anybody does, honestly.
I'm looking up, okay, how much a month is it going to cost? $5 a month for Apple TV Plus. That, dude, $5 a month, that's so much cheaper than HBO Max. It was so smart, dude. It's a steal. It's a fucking steal.
It is.
But no. The ripple effects are happening, and with Marvel owned by Disney, Star Wars owned by Disney, Spider-Man owned by Sony, and then, Microsoft's mainly gaming, but all these companies owning these big movie properties for their streaming services, Godzilla's just kind of been up in the air. In all honesty. We've got 2 anime series on Netflix. One of them's good. That's it.
And the other one is the Godzilla Earth trilogy. Yeah, I get it.
Oh god, it's just so fucking terrible.
Chase, let me ask you. Where does Toho fit into this?
You know what's funny is Toho actually about 30 minutes ago put up update congratulating Legendary, saying we were excited to see how this is going to progress, the future of it, yada yada yada. Excited to bring Godzilla to TV show. It's been a long time in the coming, stuff like that. Toho's on board, but it's funny you bringing that up because it's making me think. Think about all of the things MonsterVerse related that I don't think we really all realized has been going on in the past couple of months. We're getting a Kong Skull Island anime. We're getting a new film that Godzilla Singular Point, supposedly season 2. Pacific Rim was supposed to get another season.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's not MonsterVerse though. No. But still, that's still on the lines maybe. And now we have this, a new live action TV show, and it's just great to see that the MonsterVerse is thriving, and it's getting the support from the granddaddy Toho.
It's getting the It's getting the support from Toho, and it's been bought by a company with billions of dollars. Let's not make no mistake about it. Apple has money.
Oh yeah, and it makes me curious, like how much they shelled out for it. But it also makes me curious as how much money's going to be put into it too.
Well, I could guarantee you this. They didn't spend $70 billion on it.
Yeah. I was just thinking that same thing, man.
No. Look, as much as I love the Monsterverse, and I want nothing but the best and make all the money in the fucking world for it, right? This didn't hit $1 billion. Let's just be real here. This didn't hit $1 billion. I'd be shocked if it did. I'd be like, oh, and I'd be happy. I'd be pleasantly surprised if it hit $1 billion. I don't think this IP is $1 billion, even though the movie's total came out to $2 billion. But $500 million for the licensing rights to the Monsterverse, I think that's justifiable. I think, JR, what do you think? Am I going crazy, or do you think that's justifiable?
No, I think it is. I mean, I don't know how much Legendary paid to get the rights to begin with. Legendary Warner Brothers, and adjusted for whatever inflation there is now, a lot of it, I imagine. But no, I think it's a justifiable price, and there's money to be made there. There's ideas that can be had, but again, I'm sure we'll get into it. The worries, the criticisms to come with that. Oh, I can't wait till we dive into that shit. Plus, a lot of the positives. But on the flip side of that, you buy it for, say, $500 million. Are they going to put the budget in to each episode?
Right.
How much does it take to CG render Godzilla? How many man hours, labor, all of that? You know what I mean? I know Apple has a shit ton of money, but are they willing to put that kind of money into it, depending on how much they bought it for? It could be one of those situations like, yeah, we want exclusive rights to the Godzilla TV series. Here's $500 million. And then they're handing out, you get $50,000 per episode to work with. Mm-hmm. Render a Godzilla with $50,000, and then it's going to be a stick Godzilla that's paper animated. You know what I mean?
I've seen better on YouTube. Chase, that brings up a great point, JR does. We're pretty much, all three of us here, we're not familiar with Apple TV. I don't have a subscription. JR doesn't have a subscription. I'm sure you don't have a subscription. So we don't know what they're showing, right? We don't know the quality of shows in terms of storytelling, in terms of production value that Apple TV shells out. Now, we know the Monsterverse, right? And we know that Godzilla vs. Kong is the greatest Monsterverse movie of all time. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. JR, I love you. That was for you, brother. But we know what they've done, right? We know what the Monsterverse has done. Apple acquiring this without us knowing what their production value is with their subscription service, what do you think? Are we going to get what we deserve? And I don't mean what we deserve. I shouldn't say that. That's not fair to anybody. Are we going to get quality, or are we going to get just some, hey, we got this just to get a couple of extra people to sign up for our service?
I mean, I think if Apple wants to be smart and they don't want to just, flick a coin into the pond, they will do whatever they can to make this TV series as acceptable and appropriate as it needs to be. I think the thing is if they already have, because they already have producers and directors. I think if those producers and directors have anything to say with it, they're not just going to put something, half-assed and not, polished on a streaming service. But from what I know of Apple TV, from the shows that I have seen glimpses of, like, they're not like CGI ridden shows, but like the show Ted Lasso. It's like one of the most famous shows they have on there. It's supposed to be like a really great show. From what I've seen, it looks great. It looks very high quality. It looks like they took a lot of time put into it. It looks like they handled it with care and professionalism. So I would like to hope that if they are taking the time to buy a Godzilla IP, they're going to do the same thing. But the thing is, you got to think about this from their shows they usually do. Something like just, a drama or a comedy drama that doesn't have really any CGI or anything in it, to going to a show that requires almost everything being CGI. It makes you question, how is everything going to look? How much money are they going to put into? I mean, I don't expect the CGI to be on par with the actual films, like what Weta puts into the creatures and stuff like that. But, nowadays, nowadays you see stuff like, take Game of Thrones, for instance. Those dragons look great.
Good point.
But the thing is, that's HBO and stuff. But besides, comparing apples to oranges, CGI in TV shows has gone a long way now, and TV companies are putting more into it. The CGI in Stranger Things with the creatures and stuff like that. It's possible we could get a very stellar looking, stellar looking show. I just wanted to add this one thing though. This article is talking about it's being produced by Chris Black and serve as a showrunner along Matt Fraction. I never heard those two people.
Whoa! What? Matt Fraction?
Yep, never heard of those people.
Okay, time out.
But hold on. It also talks about along. It's going to be filmed. It's going to have support from Along Safe House Pictures, Joby Harold, Tori Tunnel, and Toho as well. Toho Co. Ltd. Hiro Matsuoka, and Takamasa Arita will executive produce for the show.
Okay.
So it looks like Toho is also going to have their hand in the show as well. So with that being said, on quality of this, we all know how Toho is with their stuff. I don't think they're going to allow this show to just be, smeared peas on a wall and just thrown out on a plate.
I got you.
So I think we're going to get a good quality show. I don't think there's going to be any disrespect. I think they would be dumb to do that. They would shoot themselves in the foot, and they would be a waste of money. So I think we'll be in good hands.
Go ahead, JR. I see your hand up. You want to say something? Because I got something to say about Matt Fraction.
Remember when Toho approved Godzilla in 1998? That could happen again.
No, that's not going to happen. No, that's terrible. Wait, listen.
Hey, I'd watch a Godzilla 98 sequel in today's day. I swear. I'd sit down first person in that seat.
Hey, listen, if Toho is on board with this, I would not be surprised if, just saying, a Zilla pops up in the Legendary Universe.
I
It
would
works.
love that.
It would work. It would work. It would work. Listen, it would work. That means I'm going to Matt Fraction, okay? Matt Fraction is a comic book name. I'm a comic book head. I love comic books. I know who Matt Fraction is. Matt Fraction, okay? There is a TV show on right now on Disney Plus that just wrapped called Hawkeye. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Hawkeye the Avenger. And that was based off of Matt Fraction's Hawkeye run. And that was a great, great run. And I thoroughly enjoyed the show. So if Matt Fraction is involved, he is going to take care of the source material. But that being said, I pose the question to both of you. How much Godzilla are we going to see when they say featured? Is it going to be stock footage, or are we going to get the big guy every 5 to 8 episodes? JR, start with you.
It depends on how they go about the story, of course. If it's going to revolve around Godzilla, I'm sure he'll be in a decent amount. I mean, at the end of the day, in my speculation, it just comes down to budgetary restraints, you know? If they have Godzilla in every episode, you know, I imagine they wouldn't reuse shit because, you know, like Spider-Man No Way Home, people notice when you reuse shit from other movies. It was my second viewing. I noticed it.
I didn't notice none of that. What are you talking about, Willis?
Sandman. The Sandman scene where he gets cured.
That's not
straight from Spider-Man 3, man.
Nobody knew that because nobody watched Spider-Man 3 but you.
I know. And I love that movie. Foley McGuire's best. But no. I'm serious, though. It ends up being a budgetary thing. And I'd love to see monsters in it. I love a lot of monsters. I can't get enough of seeing enough monsters. But, you know, it just comes down to the story. I imagine how it would be is, like, the first episode, it's going to set it up, and then, like, you'll see Godzilla in the end credits or something. You know what I mean? And then you'll see him sprinkled throughout until, like, the last 2-3 episodes where they really throw the budget out and you really get to see him. I think it's going to be like that. But at the same time, I don't know, because we live in a world where the Mandalorian, I mean, the child... I haven't watched season 2 yet, so I don't remember its name. Or I know, still to this day. It's been like, what, a year, 2 years?
Dude, you didn't watch season 2 of The Mandalorian. I mean, we're on the Book of Boba Fett right now. What's wrong with you?
I know, right? But we live in a world where the child was CG animated throughout. I know it's Disney money, but you can't sit here and fucking tell me that iPhones that go for like $1,200 and people eat that up can't help out a good budget to where we can have a decent-looking Godzilla for a decent amount of time in each episode. Like I said, we live in a world where the child is in everything. I know they use the puppet and everything, but they still had to CG certain things out of it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I would be okay if they just went back to suits. Just saying.
I agree. That's where I was going with you too, Chase. Same question, but the idea of suits being involved to maybe save on some budget. You think Godzilla's going to be heavily featured, or we're going to have it sprinkled throughout?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just kind of think Godzilla's going to be mostly CGI based. But as far as, I feel like it's going to play out like an actual Godzilla Toho movie. You know, we'll see Godzilla more towards the end of the seasons and they build up to him. But the thing is I feel like this is going to be like a Fantastic Beast and Where to Find Him type thing and Dragonology and stuff, you know, because I'm just questioning, you know, what could you really do with this if it's about a family just trying to uncover the buried secrets of Monarch? You know, I mean, I can understand human drama, you know, character drama here and there, but, you know, what's going to be the dilemma of the series and the monsters, and I think it's just all going to be what's really relevant to the storytelling, you know. So I guess we'll find. I mean, but I imagine it's going to be like we'll definitely see monsters and Godzilla, you know, throughout the season, and you know, then towards the end of it, we'll see more of the monsters, you know, towards the end, and the last episode being the big finale of what they're doing. But we also don't know, is this going to be like a 12-episode season? Is it going to be like a 3-episode series? You know, what's this going to be? Because that also makes a big difference as well. I love Netflix. They have the series, the Dracula series is like I think it's a 3-episode series, and I love that series, and I would love for them to do season 2 of that with more episodes. But I could definitely see maybe that happening with Godzilla too, just to get the foot wet to see how it's going to go. But you know, everyone's guess is as good as mine. I mean, we don't really know much about this show. I don't think we're going to see anything probably till the end of the year. You know, we might see something when Warner Brothers goes and for 2022 goes to Sao Paulo again and shows off their slate like they do every year around that time. That's probably when, you know, or, you know, maybe Comic-Con, but
I doubt
think that's too soon.
Yeah, I doubt Comic-Con right now.
Yeah, I think it's way too soon, but you know, I'm everyone's guess is as good as, you know, as good as each other's, you know. It I would, you know, the thing is, you know, I would, as much as I would love to see Godzilla a lot, I don't want it to just be Godzilla on your screen all the time. I want it to, you know, tell a story. I want it to make sense. I want it to be, you know, capturing. I want to, you know, feel like I'm watching a Godzilla movie, or, you know, and so I wouldn't mind if it's Godzilla or Rodan or, you know, gosh, you know, just talking about this, though, is opening up so many doors of, like, what monsters are we going to see? You know, is this going to add things there? Is this going to tie into films? Is this going to do this, that, and that, and that? It's like putting out the red lines across everything, trying to pinpoint what's actually going to happen now. And I'm getting excited thinking about it. But, you know, that just opens a lot of opportunities. Are we going to see Space Godzilla show up? Are we going to see Destroyer show up? Your favorite Ray?
None of that shit's happening.
Are we gonna finally see that Anguirus skeleton? You know,
you saw it in Kingdom Monsters. Listen, during Christmas break, because everybody knows here, I've said it a million times, I work at a school, so during Christmas break, I sat down and I watched every single live-action Godzilla movie, every single one, from 1954 to Godzilla vs. Kong, every single Godzilla live-action film. That included Godzilla 1998 and Shin Godzilla. And I went through it. Yep, I loved it. This is not going to have Space Godzilla. This is not going to have Destroyer. This is going to create new monsters for the Monsterverse. That's the gimmick. Because when you create new monsters for the Monsterverse, you don't have to pay Toho any licensing fees for Godzilla or any of their created characters. So then you save money. That's a smart thing from Apple. Also, I want to throw this out there. This is just a gag. This is a joke. But hear me out here. The only thing I know Apple TV for, because my wife was watching it, when we bought a new TV about a year ago. And the show just came out. And the new TV, it came with like a month or 2 months free Apple TV subscription. It was a show, oh my God. It was with Haley Steinfeld, right? I forgot. It was about Dickinson. No, not Dick. That's not right. It was a famous author. And she played the author from, you know, the past. And she is also in Hawkeye, Haley Steinfeld. I can't pronounce her last name. I can't say it right. She's also in Hawkeye. She's also in Hawkeye that Matt Fraction. She's the character that Matt Fraction created, which means now that Matt Fraction is working with Apple TV, and she already worked with Apple TV, and she also played the character Matt Fraction created, Haley Steinfeld will be in the Godzilla Monsterverse. I'm down for it. She was great in Bumblebee. Bumblebee was the best Transformers movie, live action, we've seen. This is where I'm going. It's off the rails. I don't care. That's what we do here on Godzilla Block Party. You know it. I know. We all know it.
Also think about this. It could be Toho's monster universe.
Wait. No.
Toho's gonna be either. Yeah, remember we were talking about that too.
Listen,
Monarchs finds all these monsters and Toho monsters.
Listen.
Amanda's gonna show up.
Okay, so
Bacra.
And this is crazy because I just did a podcast with G95, my brother Matt, our brother Matt from the G Show, about Cowboy Bebop, and we were talking about the live action versus the anime, and the differences between the two. That kind of applies here. I don't think Apple spending whatever money they're spending is going to try to license the Toho. It's a business, right? Toho wants to make money, right? Go ahead. What do you want? What do you want? They can't make money off of King Kong. They don't own King Kong. They don't own King Kong. That's why Legendary, before this news broke, was like, okay, Godzilla sailed into the sunset at the end of Godzilla vs. Kong. Legit. That's literally sailed into the sunset. We saw that. It's all about Kong now. Last thing we saw was Kong. It's all about Kong and the Monsterverse. Nobody owns that. That's public domain. So Legendary picks it up, scoops it up. They can make movies about Kong and make a profit, right? They can't do that with Godzilla. Toho's going to want that money. That thing applies to all of Toho's characters. That's why in Godzilla vs. Kong, you only saw Mechagodzilla. Where was Rodan? Yeah, I don't know if King Ghidorah's skull counted in paying Toho. So now we're talking about a TV show. That's not going to work. They're not going to pay him. They're going to create their own monsters. Or they're going to use the monsters that was created for King of the Monsters. Behemoth. Tiamat. Monsters like that. We're going to get to see that. And the problem, though, lies in, again, the money. What is the production going to be? Are we going to get enough money to show these things? And if so, are they only going to show up at the end? Because that's also a formula for TV shows. And that's the scary part. So, JR, let me ask you. Is that going to be the case with this? Is this going to be like the X-Files for the Monsterverse? Where we see them only at the end?
Dude, I really do think so. I mean, I think we'll see them sprinkled throughout, nothing too significant. I mean, judging what's been out as, Godzilla TV show format, the closest comparison we can do is Godzilla Singular Point. Right. Fantastic anime, love the shit out of it. Yep. Godzilla's not in it a whole lot. Nope. He is in the end of each episode. Even the final fight in the anime, it's like 2 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a situation like that where, it is effective. Less is more. That's why I think one of the biggest criticisms people have with King of the Monsters is its sensory overload. Holy shit, it's just too much shit in your face. You know what I mean? It's just all there, and you can't process the goddamn thing. Less is more. That's why I think 2014 is the most effective Monsterverse movie, because you don't get a shit ton, but it's effective. And I think that's what's going to play out in the TV show. They're going to talk a lot about him, show him, the monsters and stuff, just a little bit, sprinkle, and then the end is when they're really going to okay, how much of the budget we have left? Yeah, let's just do this. Let's do it. We don't know if we're getting to season 2. And here's another thing that I was thinking of. See, with Kong, I'm imagining Legendary moving forward with the Kong films. and they're making the Godzilla the TV show. And here's why I think Godzilla's the TV show now, is because fucking Toho wants to make fucking movies again. I really think, and that's how they do it. Legendary owns the rights to the TV show and the Monsterverse films still. Apple's licensed out to develop it and whatnot, and Toho's like, okay, you have the rights to TV shows, which we've been stuck to, minus Shin Godzilla, because if you really want to get into the Godzilla Earth series, it's an animated series, 3 films, but it felt more like a TV show, not really movie, you know?
Yep.
But I think that's what's happening here, is Toho's like, we want to make movies again. There's been teases in the past 2 years on it.
We had a great Godzilla suit or concept with the Universal ride.
Yeah, no, I am dead serious here. I think Toho's going to start making the movies again, which I'm all for. It would be awesome. And then when we get the Godzilla TV series, I mean, how big's Apple TV in Japan to begin with? You know what I mean? Like,
right,
like call. That'll be for us, and then we'll be the Japanese during the Monsterverse series. We'll get the movies later from Toho. You know what I mean? Like, we'll get them like the same amount of time Shin Godzilla later. What was it, like 6 months later? You know what I mean? I think that's what's happening. Yeah. I really do. And it's not bad. It's a good thing. Let Toho make movies again. Don't make Shin Godzilla again, please. Please.
They're not going to. But hey, real quick on a side note. I said I watched every single Godzilla movie over Christmas break, including Shin Godzilla, and I loved it. Listen to what I just said. This has never been said on this podcast ever before. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it first. Me, G1, Ray. I watched Shin Godzilla and loved it. Why, you may ask, is the sudden change of heart?
I really want to fucking know why.
Brother Chase, you ready for this one?
Not really, but go ahead.
I'm going to tell you what. So I watched the dub version, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all right, this is better. I watched every single Godzilla movie except for that one. And, of course, 98 because it's already in English. I watched every single one subtitled. That's how you got to do it, in my personal opinion. That's what you do. But Shin Godzilla, this time I decided to watch it dubbed. And I did it on spite. I said, because I hate this movie, right? So I watched it dubbed. And, oh my God. There it was, as a Dr. Brody once said, that movie's not a Godzilla movie. It is not a Godzilla movie.
No.
No, it is totally not.
It's an episode of Evangelion.
You can say that, yeah. Or
I've been saying that for, 4 years now?
Or, it's what I like to look at it as. It is a remake of not 1954, not 1985, not 2000. It is a remake of 1998. It's a Gino.
That makes complete sense.
Right?
Came in 1998.
Dude,
how dare you?
It's a Gino. It's a Gino. And hear me out. Here's my theory. 1998. That's not Godzilla. We all know it. We all know it. We know it as, this is a great monster movie. In my personal opinion, it's a great monster movie. Is it Godzilla? Absolutely not. It's a mistaken identity. Toho even went above and beyond to recognize it as being mistaken identity. GMK's perfect example, right? Then they included in Final Wars, which, by the way, as I watched all the Godzilla movies in succession, Godzilla Final Wars is the best Millennium movie, period. Period. And I love me some GMK, period. Godzilla Final Wars. I digress. I watched Shin Godzilla, and in the dub, because the subtitle version is so convoluted with words on screen, right? You got shit on the top, shit on the side, where the subtitles should be on the bottom. It's all over the place. Watching the dub version, though, it's only shit on the top. And it's stupid shit. which is still why I hate the movie. Stupid shit like fifth floor hallway of Prime Minister's residence. Do I give a fuck where they're at? No, that's stupid, right? Or, this is real good. They show a helicopter. They fucking gave the name to the helicopter. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, no other movie did that. Why do we need to do that now? That's stupid. I digress again. But one thing that the dubbed version did that I was like, wait a minute, what? They said that the Americans named Godzilla. I had to time out. I had to pause. Because they had no name for this creature yet. So they just went with Godzilla because the Americans said so. And where does Godzilla originally come from? An American who could not pronounce Gojira. Back then. Before we were all born. And what did 1998 do? Play off of that. Play off of that. Thus making Shin Godzilla an actual remake of 1998's Godzilla. Because that's not even a Godzilla. It looks like Godzilla. It sounds like Godzilla. But we all know it's not a Godzilla, right? It's not Godzilla. It is a remake of 1980. It's a Geno. It's Geno 2. It's Geno 2. And that, when I looked at it in that perspective, oh my God, this movie's the best thing in the world. It was so fun. And I still hated it. But oh my God, I didn't feel my chest tighten up. My blood pressure didn't boil. I sat there and I enjoyed the fuck out of that movie. Looking at it the way I look at Godzilla 1988. That's not Godzilla. It's a remake of something else. It's a different interpretation of something. And oh my God, that movie was so much more fun. And I implore everybody to watch, if you don't like the movie, watch the dubbed version. Because the subtitle version is too much shit all over the screen. You can't pay attention to what's going on. Because you're like, oh my God, this is the best one. Elevator, Prime Minister's office going to 3rd floor. Why would I need to know that? No, stupid. But I digress again. So that was my quick rant. Shin Godzilla. It's actually better when you don't look at it as a Godzilla movie. It's way better. The same way people don't look at Godzilla 98 as a Godzilla movie. If you don't like Shin Godzilla, look at it as a not Godzilla movie, and it works. It's a great monster movie. It really is a great monster movie. And if you really want to get those people mad, look at it as a remake to Geno. We're going to lose all our subscribers from that. That's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that. But that's how I saw it.
It was Andrew.
Oh, he has no idea what's coming. Anyhow, I digress again.
Dude, you just gave me great ideas for Godzilla Against Everyone. Since I started posting on there again. I'm going to use this material. I'm so used to this.
Do it. Do it. I'm telling you. I could not believe that I was sitting there actually enjoying Shin Godzilla for the first time. Because I never liked that movie. Since 2016, I was like, I hate this fucking movie. I watched it with those goggles on. I was like, oh my God. If it's not a Godzilla movie, it's a great monster movie. If it's a Godzilla movie, it sucks. But if it's not a Godzilla movie, it's Godzilla 98. Wait a minute. It's a remake of Godzilla 98. Perfect. Perfect. Without the even with the fucking children. Because at the end of the movie, what do we see? Children coming out of its tail. I'm just saying. Period. Punto. That's in Spanish. Bang. All right. Back to the topic at hand. Before we call it quits. We're getting a show with the Monsterverse. It's coming out on Apple TV. Again, is Godzilla going to be in every episode, or are we just going to get him at the end? And that's what I think we're going to do. I agree with that. But what do we do? Do we use the monsters that Adam Wingard created? No, was it Adam Wingard? No, it wasn't.
Michael Dougherty.
Michael Dougherty. Thank you, sir. Adam Wingard made the better movie. Never mind. Do we use the monster? I saw you, JL. You know it's true. You know it's true. I'll tell you, I just watched it all again. Godzilla versus Kong is the best thing in the world. Anyhow, do we use the monsters Michael Dougherty created? Do we expand on that? Because that's where I think we should go. And Chase, me and you, we've talked about this 100 times. Are we expanding on the universe, or are we expanding on the monsters already created?
The universe. That's actually what they said in the article.
All right, shut me down. Leave me alone.
Yeah. No, I mean, just they're talking about how they're exploring more of this universe to expand and stuff. And so that's why it's interesting to, I personally don't think it's just going to be a thing where, I mean, obviously TV shows just save the money shot for the end, but I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case with this. I mean, I don't expect it to be like a thing where it's like monsters every episode, or I mean, who knows? We don't even know what it's about. I mean, it could easily be about like every episode Monarch tracks a new monster,
right?
But we don't know. I mean, I'm interested to see. I mean, is it a show that also is following Godzilla on his path? Who knows? But I mean, like, I expect we'll see kaiju we've recognized before. I expect we'll see kaiju that are new. And I'm sure. With Toho also having a hand in, I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of the episodes had a Toho monster in it just for shits and giggles. That's what's Godzilla. I mean, I'm not saying like that's going to happen, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like, if they wanted to be like, we'll put Gorosaurus in it, or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised with anything like that. I mean, they could do that,
Or Zilla.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing how this is all going to play out. On lines of everything else, though, with what JR said about Toho wanting to make movies again, Toho already put out an article months ago in an interview saying that they are open to letting film companies make more Godzilla films. So I'm not saying it's not about that. I mean, obviously Toho wants to do Godzilla films as well, but I don't think that's where it just stops. I think that I feel like this Monsterverse TV series is going to tie in to Godzilla films and to help segue into more films. I think that's what they're going to try to do with it. That's how I feel. Not only just Kong, though, because that's now Legendary's IP as well. They can add Kong in it if they want. They can, they already are going to add Godzilla to it. They've already created this universe they're just going to expand on. I don't think it's just going to be now Kong's show whenever we see a Monsterverse film on the screen. So, with this TV series, I think that's what they're doing, is they're trying to find a way to segue that to connect the dots and allow for Godzilla to have more of a feature on the screen, on the big screen. So, on lines with Toho, though, Toho's going to do whatever the hell they want. I think, the thing is it's very possible during this time, while they're trying to figure out, all right, what's the next Monsterverse film going to be about, Toho can put something out. But you got to understand, Toho is set on so many things right now. They're trying to branch out across the world with merchandising and events and stuff like that. And also, if they're planning to do season 2 of Singular Point, which isn't going to be that drastic and time consuming, there's a lot they can still do. But at this point, it's all just. I guess we'll wait and see till when we see. But I am on cloud nine because the possibilities of what this show could do could be really impressive. So I'm stoked. I can't wait for more until we find out more.
Absolutely agree with that. JL, let me ask you, because Chase made a good point there. With Toho license, like saying like other studios can make a Godzilla movie, right? And right now, it seems like, well, Apple TV is going to make a show. I don't think the focal point is going to be on Godzilla itself, but I absolutely, it says it in the article, it's going to feature Godzilla. Whether it's news clippings and at the end Godzilla popping up to fight Tiamat, let's say, for instance. But that being said, is that the right thing to do for Toho? Is that the right way to go? Like the way, for instance, Marvel, when they were going, that's not saying Toho's going bankrupt, please don't get that twisted. But when Marvel was going bankrupt and they started selling some of their top commodities, comic book wise, X-Men and Fantastic Four to Fox, Spider-Man to Sony, which, as we've seen, is still a buku lucrative deal, even though Marvel kind of got Spider-Man back, but they made it. Is that what you see Toho going forward with? Like, okay, you know what? Legendary is going to make Kong movies. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. Because, again, Toho doesn't own that. But as far as when it comes to Godzilla and Toho creatures, Toho kaiju, is Toho going to be like, here, Apple TV, you can make Godzilla only, and we'll give Sony and Gearus, and we'll get... Rodan's already a part of the Monsterverse, so that doesn't count. Because some of the things Chase said, too, like, in regards to what we're going to see, there's no doubt in my mind, we're going to see Mothra again. Like, it has to happen, right?
Yeah. I think if Toho just starts selling off monsters to other companies like Marvel did, I think it would be ridiculous. I personally can't get behind them doing that. I think it would be a bad business decision because, as we've seen with Spider-Man, you know, Marvel trying to get Spider-Man back was a hassle, and now they're in some... what are they in after this Spider-Man movie? What is it, like a licensing limbo? Like, who owns Spider-Man?
It sure seems that way.
Venom? Now Venom's in the MCU. It's all confusing. I think it would be a bad move to do, but there's potential. Definitely potential in something happening, for sure. With this TV series, and maybe like each series, you know, like they could focus on a different monster or something. I do have an idea, but I'm going to save it for like closing thoughts because it's something Michael Dougherty was talking about after King of the Monsters came out, and so that's the best one. That's the best one.
Yeah, I don't see it being a thing where Toho is going to put price tags on all their monsters to distribute to other investors like that. I think Toho is going to hold on to all of their characters in one big package, and you know, only allow for certain types of usage and what they're being, you know, licensed for. I don't think it's going to be like, you know, Nike wants to start using Rodan for their sneakers, or you know, or you know, Netflix wants Baragon for something. You know, I don't think that is going to happen. But what I think is what's going to happen is you know, I think Toho is going to be more lenient on what creatures can be shown, and just to really bring more awareness to their franchise. And I think it's just going to be one step at a time. You know, Toho said, you know, we're wanting to really push out Godzilla and its universe, you know, and stuff, just to bring Godzilla to the world again, because now that he's relevant again, they want to really, you know, make that concrete, and I think this is just the baby step. This is the first foot into the water, aside from Legendary's Monsterverse films, and I think whether or not the next Legendary film features Godzilla in it or not, I definitely think, we'll be definitely seeing another Monsterverse Godzilla film eventually towards the next 10 years for sure, at least at some point. But as far as Toho making films, who knows? Toho has been back and forth. I mean, they've been talking about how they've been, a couple of years ago they were talking about how they wanted to do films again after the license was up, but yet again they also renewed their license as well when they made that partner merger with Legendary. And you got to realize now Toho and Legendary are kind of handshaking with each other. They're kind of company brothers in the sense of what they've signed on to. Now, how far that goes, I don't know. But, what I'm saying is I'm not saying Toho's not going to make any films in the future. I'm not saying that they're not going to do it at all. But what I'm saying is if things change, ideas change, situations change. And what Toho may have wanted a while back, they easily could have been like, maybe we're not ready yet. Maybe we can do something different. Let's do this. And maybe Toho's going to postpone films or something. All that stuff is very possible. So that's all what I'm bringing to that is like, we don't know for sure what's going on, but we'll see. At the moment we got this TV show and some other things brewing in this Monsterverse. So, I'm excited, and we're getting new great Monsterverse toys.
if there's anything coming out of this that's worthwhile, it's merchandise.
No, because when I seen the price on that King of the Monsters Muto at $600, I'm mad. That it's either that or you get a shitty Playmates. There is no in between now. There is no in between. Because Monster Arts, they don't give a shit what you want. That is fucking clear as day. It took them how long to do 2004 Godzilla?
Oh, man. All right, listen, on that note, I'm going to get some last words. I'm going to get, last thoughts. So I'm going to start with you, JR. Last thoughts. What do you think? Final thoughts on this whole entire idea. Apple TV got the Monsterverse.
There's a million things that remain in my head, speculation and everything. And one of the questions I immediately got when I read the news was, are they just chasing trends? You know what I mean? Like Marvel, big cinematic universe movies, TV, scaled it down. Star Wars, made 3 terrible Star Wars films, and then 2 good ones to TV. DC can't get their shit together to save their fucking life, but I hear the TV shows are good.
Oh, no, time out. Only Peacemaker. Holy shit.
Okay, Peacemaker. But it's a valid criticism I have of it. That's... who knows? If they're just chasing trends or they're just testing the waters to see, doing their own thing, fine. As long as it's good. With that being said, there is an idea that Michael Dougherty said after the release of King of the Monsters that would work for a Godzilla TV series, of having it set in those prehistoric times where the monsters just roamed around and it didn't focus on humans. 4 or 5 episodes of that. This is the early rumblings of something that could actually happen in that format, and I am so down as long as this beginning part works, you know what I mean? And it rakes in the money. You gotta have a budget to have monsters, you know what I mean?
You do. Sweet. What about you, Chase? Final thoughts. Godzilla's going to Apple TV. Monsterverse is going to Apple TV.
I just keep thinking that they said in the article it's called Godzilla and the Titans. And I just keep thinking about that. What could you do with a show called that? And I'm getting giddy thinking about all the possibilities, and I'm excited. It's going to be a long year for me, but I'm finally happy that there's something to talk about because Megalon's been dead. I think all of our news pages have been dead. Nothing been to talk about, and it's kind of nice being able to sit back in the saddle and get to talk about the thing I love the most with people I care about. So I'm excited. I can't wait till the show drops. I can't wait till movies drop. I can't wait till more merchandise comes out. I feel like this is just a tip of the iceberg, and once it starts, it's going to start. And I'm excited to just get into it. I can't wait. I just can't wait till we all get to watch that first episode and get to talk about the first bit of news coming out about it, and just geek out with each other on it. So I'm excited. Can't wait.
I can't wait for more news to come out. I can't wait for that first trailer to drop. I just hope it's not like the Godzilla vs. Kong type thing. We waiting for a trailer, see a picture of Godzilla and Kong. No. And then finally we get that trailer, and it doesn't show up on my TV, and I'm so angry because it took me 5 minutes to finally see. And I digress. I can't wait for this. This is something special. Kudos to Apple TV. I've got to get a new subscription now to that. I've got to get a new subscription. I got to get a subscription to Paramount Plus because I want to watch the Halo show. Good God Almighty, could you imagine if Sony, with the news that Microsoft has bought Activision Blizzard, what if Sony decides, you know what, we're not going to make any more games, we're going to straight make TV shows based off of this? I mean, Last of Us is coming out on HBO Max, for crying out loud. I mean,
and there's been rumors of God of War getting a TV IP too. So.
Good Lord!
Uncharted's got a movie.
Which one?
Uncharted's got a movie coming out in a few months.
Yeah, that doesn't look that good though.
Actually, it's in February. Yeah, February.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
like in a couple weeks.
Could you imagine if this right now was the catalyst of such a giant change, a shift in this just like ultimate community? Because as of right now, the geeks are running the world. We run the world. Whether it's Marvel, Star Wars, video games, Godzilla, we are running the world, and we see it through all of these IPs being, shifted or bought. Again, the Activision acquisition is just mind-boggling. You see that, and it's like, is Microsoft a monopoly? We saw that before with Disney buying Marvel, buying Star Wars. What the hell's going on? Fox! They bought Fox Studios! Is that a monopoly? And now here, I mean, I'm not saying Apple TV is a monopoly for buying the rights to produce Monsterverse things, but the idea that that's happening on another platform outside of their core umbrella, HBO Max, Warner Brothers, it's shocking, yet I totally understand. Apple has the money to do it. I hope they do it well. I cannot wait for this. And that being said, we're wrapping up this episode of the Godzilla Block Party, first of 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I'm going to thank you, JR, for joining us today.
You're welcome.
And of course, my brother Chase, thank you for joining us today and breaking the news to us.
Oh, absolutely. It's the best thing I heard about today, and I'm happy.
I'm happy too, and I hope y'all happy out there. Listen, everybody, we'll be back with Godzilla Block Party in 2022 sometime. We will be back, though. And, yeah, that'll do it. We is out of here. Peace.